Well, hello and good evening. Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 4, Episode 6, Legacy, first aired back in 1990, but here in 2026 on Live Long and Podcast, we're just getting started. Whether you're joining us here live on YouTube or Twitch or Facebook or catching the audio versions wherever you get your podcasts, our mission to rewatch every episode of TNG continues. One distress call, one hostage crisis, and one unexpected connection to Tasha Yar at a time. And this is your captain speaking. I'm your host, Dave Mater, joined once again with a great panel to talk all about this episode from 1990. First, stylish, sharp, and tuned into the emotional core. She's watching every moment of the crew's reaction to meeting Tasha's sister, the hope, the hesitation, the heartbreak, and when family history collides with Federation duty, she's our guide. It's Heather Narduzzi.
Hello all, it's Heather Yar, Tasha's other long-lost sister.
Uh-oh, it's yet another sibling coming into the mix. Who will be the Supreme Yar? Welcome, Heather.
I'm not a secret traitor, though. I am
Oh, good.
pure and true.
Okay, that must be like a middle sister kind of a thing only.
Yes.
As I am assuming you're the youngest of the sisters.
Oh, yes.
Of course, also with us, tracking the power dynamics behind the crisis, the fractured politics of Turkana IV, the hostage negotiations, the uneasy alliance between Starfleet and the war-torn colony. When the episode asks, who's really pulling the strings, he's locked in. It's Adam Woodward. Oh, he's muted, but, he's saying something really important. And
hey, I'm here. Good evening, Dave and Heather Yar. Happy to be here. Talk about
Yar, matey. Or is it Yar? Yar. We are talking about Legacy, which is, what's the number here? I think it's 80, or is it 81? The 80th episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, which first aired back on October 29th, 1990, written by Joe Menosky, directed by Robert Scheer. This episode, the Enterprise responds to a distress call from Turkana IV and the lawless homeworld of the former security chief Tasha Yar, known as Turkana IV. While negotiating with one of the planet's warring factions, the crew encounters her sister, Ishara, who helps offer to, rescue the hostages, but her true allegiance lies with her faction's long-term strategy. And as she gains the crew's trust, in particular Data's, her deception threatens to compromise the mission. And in the end, her betrayal forces Picard to confront the painful legacy Tasha left behind. That's your little summary of the episode. And we got some, great guest star in this episode, Beth Toussaint, who plays Ishara Yar, her one and only appearance. But I think she does a pretty good job. Considering she's coming in here trying to, pick up on Denise Crosby's legacy, if you will, the Tasha Yar legacy.
And as we know, fans are not always receptive to the never before mentioned long lost relative trope.
No, yes, that's a good point. In particular, of course, I think of Spock, and my mind went to Michael Burnham first, but then I was like, no, Cybok actually was like the first long lost sibling that they really introduced.
Spock has like a ton of long lost siblings.
Yeah, his dad was getting busy.
Well, look at Sarek. Who wouldn't, right?
Who wouldn't? What a catch! Depending on what version actor we're talking about. How about you, Adam? How's this episode for you?
I think I remembered it differently than I did when I watched it the other night. In my mind, I thought we learned more about the colony and what had happened there. But then I remembered I read a book, like one of the Star Trek Next Generation books. And Heather, I know you've got a ton of them too. You've probably read the same one. I can't remember what it's called. But
it's called Survivors, and I was going to bring that up as well. It's the fourth book in the Next Generation ones, and it's the backstory of Tasha and Ishara's home planet.
Yeah, and that book was pretty darn good because it filled way more than this story did, and gave more of a picture of them growing up in that world versus what we saw tonight or on this episode. So, Dave, I think I got confused between the book and the episode, and I like the book better, honestly.
Okay.
But
Well,
I
that's
did like the
fair.
performances. I thought Brent Spiner did great. He's got to basically portray himself not caring as an android, but still caring, and he did a good job of that. I thought,
Yeah, because he can't get his feelings hurt, but he does his, he takes about as far as he can within those parameters, I would say, in his
yes.
performance.
And Beth, I can't remember her last name. I thought she
Toussaint.
She was very good in that role. She was very convincing, actually. I thought, as the want to know more about Starfleet and join, but that was a little fast. Even that whole I want to join Starfleet.
Oh, I was like, is part of your Starfleet training data not being able to suss a con job? Does that not come up in your training? Because I think it should. I think that class should get added to the curriculum if it isn't. But
now, to be fair, now Data's an android, so it's a bit different, but as like a human or a humanoid, I think you would be more inclined to be fooled by a relative of someone you once loved, because you would ascribe those qualities of the person you love to that person. Although Data shouldn't be able to be fooled by such things because he's an android and he doesn't feel right.
Yeah, well,
Worf was there, Riker was there. By the way, another good performance by Jonathan Frakes at the end of the episode. And surprisingly enough, he didn't try to get with
Ishara.
Oh, he did. It was off screen for sure.
Yeah, that's probably true. Like after he carried her, quite heroically out of there, and then into the transporter room, but. Yeah, like I agree with what you're saying here. I think that she does a great job. I think that the colony and the story of Turkana IV is still something I'm trying to wrap my head around. These are humans, and these are humans of the 24th century, but they're kind of corrupt and violent and they hate the Federation, and the way that Ishara betrays them to, I guess, get revenge on this other faction and whatever else. I don't know. It just felt a bit strange to me, because I'm like, I don't really understand where they're coming from entirely. Star Trek likes to do this thing where well, this is my home, and so this is the only life I've ever known. But if you had the chance to leave this place, you wouldn't take it. You really wanted to stay because, or you and a few others wouldn't, or somebody else wouldn't want to leave. Not Ishara maybe specifically, but no one on this planet would ever want to leave. That just seems strange to me too. So I don't know how you guys felt about that aspect of it.
Especially given you would think that you would want to get off the planet as soon as possible, as Tasha did, because they mentioned in the episode, so it is canon, the planet there are rape gangs everywhere. It's extremely violent. And why wouldn't you want to take the opportunity to get out of there?
Yeah, and I guess their motivations I think are a little hard for me to accept. But I don't know. Maybe there's something else I'm not quite getting about it. How the government broke down in the first place, how the Federation just kind of turned their back on them, because we find out that the last ship that was here was 6 years ago, the Potemkin, and that they were told anyone who beams down ever again here is going to be killed, right? And then the Enterprise team beams down.
It's weird for the Starfleet or Federation just to accept that and walk away. There's a lot of holes. I agree with that.
Yeah, I just don't understand the motivations entirely, But other than these are petty humans who have a vendetta against the other faction, and they just want to get revenge or get even with them, or be the number one faction maybe, And it just seems okay, but these are also descended from other humans who were able to embrace the new future, post First Contact, Zephyr Cochrane, and everything else. But anyway, I know I'm kind of hitting on this a lot, but that was sort of just my feeling. We got a few people here in the comments. Nice to have you with us. They're from the Serbian side of the Federation. That's an interesting one. Okay. All right. Well, let's jump into the screenshots and just run through the plot and just talk about everything we have. The story is pretty simple. It starts off here with the Enterprise, kind of just doing their business, and we got a poker game. One of the many times we get a poker game. This time it's Riker, Worf, Troy, and Data. Worf ends up folding here in this opening hand, and we see that the big chip piles are Data and Riker, and basically that Data Riker's trying to bluff Data, but Data's learning a little bit here, and he's calling Riker's bluff, and he's able to win this hand and take the the bigger end of the pot. So Riker then is like, oh yeah, like how about I'll do another trick for you here, right? And he does a magic trick, basically a card trick, to fool Data into all the let's for all the marbles here, for all the chips. And they go all in, and so Riker does his little card trick to find the card that Data picked, the Jack of Hearts, if anyone was keeping track. And so after Riker goes through, like take out these cards, until we're left with like a smaller and smaller pile. There's one part where he's like, throw those cards away, and Data literally throws the cards over his shoulder, quite literally. Much to the amusement of Troy. But then Riker gets the card. Riker gets to the Jack of Hearts. And, while they think it's incredible for a moment, Data wasn't fooled. He knew that Riker held his thumb on the card and, got through all the trick. And, he's like, I think under the circumstances, I win the whole pot here. So he's able to detect some con jobs here, Data, I guess is maybe the point of the scene. I
really like whenever we see them playing poker, because I feel that you always see the natural chemistry and friendship of the actors in the cast come through when they're having a poker scene. I always find that so charming, and they get to kind of like be playful and joke around with each other in a way that you don't see them doing, on the bridge or on away missions or anything.
I think scenes like this are important just to, whatever episode you end up getting them into. These are real people. They have downtime. They do things.
I like when the handsome young ensign's playing.
The handsome young ensign.
For the handsome young ensign.
He's got a lot to learn about poker, even if he gets straight A's in school. All right. Anyway, they get the distress call. That kind of abruptly ends the scene, and we head out of here. And the Enterprise is going at like warp 9.997 as fast as it can.
It is not. It is not going fast enough. If they went fast enough, they would have got there in time.
Well, Geordi said we can't push the engines too hard, Captain. Come on,
what captain ever listens to that?
No, he does. He does raise it here, and they're trying to save a Federation small craft, basically outpost scientists. Like they somehow have gotten damaged, and they've crash landed on Turkana IV, the homeworld of the late Tasha Yar, and they can't beam them out of there. We see that their shuttle or whatever it was, it exploded over top of like Turkana IV, but then Data does pick up an ion trail that leads to an escape pod that seemingly crashed conveniently right in like the main city on Turkana IV, or I guess inconveniently for them. And they say that this is a dangerous planet to go down to, and that Federation officers could be killed on sight. But Picard's like, I don't know, we gotta do something. So Riker, you're up. Riker and Worf. Head on down and try to get involved here, and that is our teaser for the episode. We're going to Turkana IV, this crazy homeworld. That Tasha Yar, we got to see a little bit of that in season 1 with her. With that one time, it was like the the fantasy life. I think it was. I can't remember exactly what episode it was, but we got a glimpse of Tasha's life on Turkana IV. The rape gangs get mentioned here.
Isn't it The Enemy Within?
Maybe. Anyway, and so after the credits, like the away team is here getting beamed down by Riker, talking about the whole thing here. And Worf has a big objection. He's like, we can't bring Dr. Crusher. She's I think he's implying she's a woman, and she's a higher at more risk here, basically because of the rape gangs. And they're like, they need a doctor to go. And so Crusher tells Worf to stick it. I'm going, no matter what. They might need a doctor. So, and so does Riker for that matter. Riker's like, she's going, Worf. Shut up, and we're all beaming down. Let's get ready. They go into the tactical formation as they go into the transporter room here, and beam on down as they have to be prepared for almost anything here. We see the surface of Turkana IV briefly before we head into like the subterranean levels on the beam down, and it's one of the great Star Trek matte paintings here, and it's clearly a world that's had seen better days. The colony maybe used to looking a little nicer, and we head down here, and I felt like I was in I don't know, like some kind of dystopian futuristic world here. It's kind of this dirty subterranean levels. The Enterprise away team here, led by Riker, they start making their way through. But like then when they're walking around, like the Turkana IV colonists seemingly don't care. They're like, whatever. Hey, like I don't know how often Starfleet officers come through. Probably not often, but that's like it seems not as bad, or they make a line here that's not quite as bad as what Tasha told us it was, and we get the sense that maybe things have changed here a little in the year since she left. But then we meet this faction that have the blinking yellow lights in their chest, who don't like the faction with the blinking green lights in their chest. But this is the first group that Riker and his team meet. And there's a bit of a standoff here, and take me to your leader, is kind of where we head next. And we see them opening up this crate of synthahol here. We get to meet the leader of the faction, this faction that they meet at their. He's called Hane.
He's called Discount MacGyver.
Discount MacGyver, yeah. And he's I don't know, it's kind of like, I don't know what they're trying to go for. I guess gang warfare is kind of what they're trying to portray this as. Like, these are gangs and they're going at it here in the city. They're stealing each other's booze. But he kind of explains that the two factions, they can't, because of these proximity detectors, they can't really fight each other all that much. Like, they're kind of forced into their sections. And there's only like small skirmishes here. And we also get this distinct feeling that Riker and his away team have a lot of disdain for Hane and the Discount MacGyver crew here. They explain that the hostages, like the crewmen that they're searching for, have been captured by the other team, the other faction. I think they're called the Alliance, right? And I think that this faction is called the Coalition. But that they're able to get them out. So this Hane guy, he's like, I'll help you if you like trade me weapons, and I can't risk you trading weapons to the other team. But obviously Riker and the Federation don't want to do that. So he's like, well, take this offer back to your captain and let him think about it, because you don't have a lot of other options, right? And so that's what they do. Data does mention though, we've heard about Turkana IV. One of our comrades used to be from here, right? Which, kind of captures Hane's interest here. And when they leave, he gives them the bottle of synthol. He's like, take this back to Captain Picard. He's got a little gift, which Riker does. And then after they beam out, Hane says to his guy, tell me everything there is to know about the Starship Enterprise. Whatever, I guess, black market information that the people of Turkana IV have purchased on that particular ship. And we head up to the Enterprise, where Riker briefs Picard on the whole situation. I don't know. Picard seems like he was into the synthahol. I don't know. He didn't seem to hate it.
What good is being captain if you can't accept perks?
Yeah. He's like, Captain, why do you have this?
Let's drink it.
Yeah. Well, he probably gave it to Guinan. Put this behind the bar for a special occasion. But then there's a hail. The colony is calling down, and we got the Coalition. Hane wants to talk, and he's like, hey, you like the booze? But suddenly there's this woman now with Hane who we hadn't met earlier. And he's like, hey, Captain, I think there's somebody here you'd like to meet. And then Ishara, as we'll come to know her, comes forward. She's like, my name is Ishara Yar, and I am the sister of Tasha Yar. And the whole crew's like, what? And dun dun dun. We go to commercial. of course, and then we come back and they're like, how could this be? Tasha never even mentioned a sister. And Haynes just like, this is amazing. The Starfleet crew, I got this connection. Like, he's like a salesman, right? Like he's looking for this like sort of in with them. And Picard and the crew, they mute the channel and they have a little conference here. She's probably lying and like this is probably a trick. But we don't have a lot of other options. We need sort of a foothold here with the Turkanans. So and Troy has no helpful. She's like, I can't tell if she's lying about being Tasha's sister. It's very selective, her powers sometimes. But yeah, she's like, I can't tell. So okay, let's go back and say, okay, well, why don't you send her up and we'll see if she can help us. So we then head to the transporter room where Data meets Ishara, who has never met an android before, and she had, there's a little bit of a thing here, and then okay, so we talk about
back one?
Yep.
Can we talk about this outfit and this hair? Sure. Mwah. Beautiful, wonderful. I love it. Her hair is fantastic. She is beautiful, and I love that they have her and Discount MacGyver in the same outfit, but they tailored hers to her figure. And just like, I think they dressed her first and then made his version of it.
That's probably true. Yeah. I know. I love it too.
Love, like the shoulder pads and that detailing. Like I love this.
It's little epaulets here on the top.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah.
Of course, I'm sure that we all know she has some spectacular wardrobe moments in this episode.
She does. She gets like the cat, the leotard thing in the other scene. But
what do we think of her hair and her outfit?
Like her hair, like I like her hair, but like even going back to when I was a kid, the first time I watched this, like her outfit always was very intriguing to me, like very cool. Like, it seems dirty, but it's kind of a uniform and it's kind of like this roguish thing. And I don't know, I'm always a sucker for a leather jacket as well. She almost like feels like almost like a like Indiana Jones to me or something. Like I get that vibe here too, right? Like she's kind of rough and tumble and capable of a lot, and I don't know, I always liked it. The hair, I like it more now as an adult. I never paid much mind to it when I was younger, but like I'm a sucker for a good cowlick too, I can relate. How about you, Adam?
The hair is like, Heather, like tell me, is this like shaved down on the side there? Like this is like coming out of like new wave, hair to me, like from the bands like the Cure, the Depeche Mode, like all that stuff coming out of the 80s, and this is still this is the early 90s, but like she looks great. Like I love that hair.
I don't think it's a side shave. I think they have that part of her hair slicked down to look like a side shave.
But they weren't doing side shaves back then. I mean, it looks great.
Yes.
Actually, they were doing side shave, but much more in a punk way. I like it.
Yeah, and I think her whole vibe does give that like sort of Mad Max might be a good way, like good thing to
one
tap
thing I
into.
don't like about Star Trek Next Gen is these high waisted pants they do on both like.
But it's the future. Waists are higher. That's what they thought in the 80s.
They did. They really did. They thought everyone's going to wear clothes up to here.
Aren't we in the 90s in this now? Like.
Well, technically 1990 is the last year of the 80s.
Fine.
So, anyway.
It was 1990. We didn't know.
It was the 80s. We didn't know still, about the low waist. By the time I get to high school a couple years after this, everyone's wearing their pants way, way low, like way past their butt. So I don't know. We can't seem to.
But I will say that style of waist looks good on very few people, and it looks great on her.
Yes, I agree. Okay, and just Brent Spiner's performance, he's very obviously not, he's trying to play it without emotions, but he obviously has like this sort of like fixation on Ishara because of his relationship with Tasha. That is definitely an emphasis of this episode, the way that Brent Spiner plays it, even just the way, he looks at her, very earnest, I would say, and, trying to befriend her.
So
Alpha Legionnaire says the crew meets Tasha's sister, low budget Sarah Connor, Timu Sarah Connor.
We were saying that the other night.
Discount MacGyver and Timu Sarah Connor.
She does have
very much like Linda Hamilton.
Linda Hamilton was a movie star at this time.
Absolutely, yeah.
But that was like Terminator was 84. This is 6 years later. Like
this is before Terminator 2. You're right. It's like
no,
this
I'm
is the
saying
year.
Terminator, where Linda Hamilton played Sarah Connor was 1984 or 3.
84.
Yeah, 84. So this is 6 years later. I mean, Sarah Connor had that like straight up hair as well, but very feathered.
But Terminator 2 Judgment Day is the year after this.
I'm talking about that one. I'm talking about the original Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor's in that one too.
Yeah, but she's older.
6 years older.
Yeah. Cut and built, and like back in the 84 one, she was just Linda Hamilton. Like,
because she was just a waitress when the story starts. She's not this battle warrior yet.
Okay, well, we can anyway. Which version of Sarah Connor do we like the best? We'll talk about that later.
I like the T2 Sarah Connor. That's my favorite.
Yeah, me too. Also.
Anyway, so they
before you go on here, I just looked up the summary of the book Survivors. It's a good summary here. It's a human colony that fringes on of known space at this time, isolated by the rest of the galaxy. The last report, they were on the verge of becoming a true interstellar community, a full-fledged member of the Federation. But in the book, now the USS Enterprise D has received a distress signal. They're in the throes of a violent revolution, a revolution led by a merciless warlord who's committed countless atrocities in the name of freedom. So...
Well, it sounds like, and remember at the end of like the Section 31 movie, if we want to remember the Section 31 movie with Michelle Yeoh, that like at the end of that, she's like, "We're going to Turkana IV."
I didn't remember that.
Yeah,
they're making another one. Hey, we'll come back to that.
They are. They're really gonna make it. Oh wow,
that's what I saw.
And that would have been in like the like it's not quite clear what year that Section 31 movie's taking place in. I guess to the point where Rachel Garrett's younger than she is in like yesterday's Enterprise, but that it would be before like Tasha and Ishara would be born. Like it would be well before that. Anyway, and we as Data and Ishara are walking through the corridors, heading up to meet with the captain. Ishara is giving a less than flattering version of Ishara. Goes out of her way to call her a coward for leaving the colony when she did. And Data's like, no one has ever called Tasha a coward before. That's just he was very startled, as much as an android can be by that statement. And so. This is one of many conversations where people are like, "You don't know your sister as well as you think you did," right? I guess like how old do we think that Ishara is? I guess like 30. Like was she like only like 15 when Tasha left?
She must have been quite young. Yes.
Yeah.
And Tasha herself was quite young, and she's
Tasha.
oldest.
I feel like she was only in her 20s, like when she died, and that was 4 years before this, right? So. Yeah, she can't be that. She might even be like only in her 20s, Ishara.
Honest to God, this plant, go back.
Oh.
This yucca plant, I swear to God, they just move it into every different room on the Enterprise, and they use the same one the entire time.
I think they made a joke in Lower Decks about how there was a guy that is his whole job on the starship is just to move plants around from room to room, and like, like that's like I was like, I want that job. I would like I'll be on the spaceship and I'll just be the plant guy.
I'll just be the plant guy, just move it from room to room.
Yeah, they put one here behind Picard. But yeah, that plant won't be there in like Best of Both Worlds. It's not, we don't have that, when we're having a serious conference. We can't have plants in the room, but for this, it's fine. Okay, so when they bring Ishara in to meet like the captain and Riker and the rest, like just how they all look at her like, we don't believe you. We don't like you. It's just like, and she says, you don't believe me. Well, you're welcome to sample my DNA. And I just like how Crusher goes, I will. Thank you.
I will.
Yes. Yeah, it's just so like aggressive, passively.
It's great.
Okay, so in lore here, Ishara was born in 2342.
Okay, so that would make her 26 in this episode.
Yeah, she joined the coalition when she was 10.
Or 24. 24 in this episode. Yeah.
Yeah, and then 2367, the Enterprise D came to Turkana IV. So
I think we're okay. So it's like it's 27 probably. Anyway, so she's here, and she's talking a little bit about her history, about how when Tasha left and what it was like, and Geordi's like, she left you on the planet in those conditions. She goes, she didn't abandon me. I chose to stay because reasons, I guess, and it's as it goes. And then we get the hostage video from one of the survivors, one of these people that crashed on the planet who are being held by the other faction, saying that they want weapons basically from Starfleet, phasers, or they will kill them. And Dr. Krish is like, can you just ask them if we can send medical attention? But the channel gets cut off and scrambled here. And Tasha says you should take their threat to kill them very seriously. They almost certainly will. So they're bad guys. I guess we're the less bad guys, Ishara's faction. But I don't know if their shuttle had crashed in Ishara's side, would they be doing the same thing? Is kind of what I'm left to wonder. Or is her faction less bad on some level? We also find out, we get a little bit more information about like the security proximity detectors and what they are, like these light up things in their chest that when the government, when it was still in place, gave police powers to the various factions. And, over time, the 12 factions that kind of started off in the Civil War broke down eventually into just 2 factions, one being the one Ishara is part of, which is the Coalition, and the others being the Alliance. Oh, got add back. Okay, so once they start, Tasha's working with them. They're trying to figure out like a rescue plan. How are they going to save their these hostages from the Turkana group? And we get this little 3D rendering of Turkana City, which seems to go very underground, an area that Ishara knows well, and what they want to do and beam in and beam out. And so Ishara has this plan, like what I can beam in. I have my security sensor. It will automatically trigger like the security system, and then you, as the away team, can like go in and like find your like basically what's left of the escape pod and see if we can use that part of the escape pod sensors to locate where they are, locate the hostages. And Riker's like, it's too dangerous, Ishara. You can't be taking that kind of risk. But she's like, I was ordered to help you. Are you gonna be a wimp here, Riker, or are you gonna let me do it?
Gave it to him.
She gave it to him hard, right? And he was just like, oh, well, I'll talk to the captain about it.
Listen, this again, you've got a strong woman, the other one is Shelby, telling him how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And Riker does not take risks. He plays it safe. Just like Shelby said he did, Yep. And it's pointed out again.
Right. Well,
Riker is a disappointment.
He does bring up the fact that Tasha died on his watch.
Come on, Heather, take that bait.
Riker is a disappointment?
No way.
Adam came to fight tonight.
No, he's been trashing Riker for months.
I know.
So here we go. Anyway, and then Data's like, well,
wait a second, he can be safe because there's no starships to be promoted to right now. They're all destroyed because of Picard.
Well, Shelby's rebuilding the fleet. He could have a ship if he wants it, but anyway, so there's this whole thing where Riker, after like Ishara and Data leave, where Riker just looks at Worf and Geordi, and he was like, oh, that was something, huh? With Ishara,
same look that he gave them when Shelby gave him crap.
Oh yeah, it's the same thing. I'm not sure what it's meant to convey exactly, other than, whoa, spicy, I guess. Anyway, we head over to sick bay where Ishara is getting some medical treatment, I guess, or she's getting the test for the DNA to find out if she's really Tasha's sister. And Crusher says it's going to take a few hours. Like, this is the 24th century, everyone. Like, come on. Like, what was going on here?
I think in my mind, she has done DNA testing and it's worked a lot faster.
Even before this, right? Like, there have been episodes before this that have, come up. And I guess this whole idea of DNA testing in 1990, I don't know how understood it was. I know from the O.J. Simpson trial, it actually really wasn't really understood that well at the time by the mainstream public. It was kind of this newer idea. And so I guess this idea of a few hours to run the test, plus the plot kind of demands it, is what we get here. Well,
I mean, not to bring back horrible memories, but when Paul Bernardo was, they were trying to link him to the Scarborough rapist.
Mm-hmm.
They sent his DNA off, and it was going to take 3 months before it came back.
Yeah, and I get that for like 1990, for the real 1990, but like,
well, that's when you said people didn't understand it. That's kind of the reason why it wasn't
right. It was kind of like this whole new thing in science, right? Like that the idea of like connecting people through their DNA, like that people are related to each other, etc. Yeah. Anyway, so Riker then comes through sickbay shortly after, says, "Captain," he says, "yes to your plan. So we're going. Let's do this." And they proceed. They beam down. They find out where the escape pod is being guarded by the Alliance. Riker and his team getting ready to make their move. And then they beam Ishara into the other section, which triggers the alarm right away. You see her little light up sensor in her chest. I wonder how they did that. Like that would be. I'm curious for that, Adam. Like how they actually did the effect of having that little light up thing worked. Sure. Anyway, but the alarms are going off. The Alliance is distracted. The Alliance likes to wear headbands. That seems to be their thing. Like, hey, you want to be in our gang? Well, there's a sick headband you're gonna have to wear.
Your standard issue bad guy headband right here.
Yeah. And they have little like Klingon pain sticks or whatever they're kind of messing around with. But yeah, we see here Worf and Riker. They shoot up a couple of these guys. Their headbands don't protect them from phasers. And then they start working the escape pod to try to get like the sensor going so they can detect where their guys are. Meanwhile, Ishara is like running around trying to, evade capture from the Alliance troops here. We get to see like the little contrast there with the green light up in their chest versus like the yellow light up in hers. Like, why do you need a headband to say you're in the gang when you can just have your little thing light up?
Because headbands look cool, and you know it, Dave.
Yeah, it was. I have a bunch. Don't worry. And so then Geordi's like, "Damn it! I got the thing repaired, but the power system is not working." And Riker's like, "How long will you take to fix it?" He's like, "I don't know. I need 10 minutes." He's like, "But they can't reach Ishara over the comms." Right? Or O'Brien's like, "I can't beam her out. She's right by like a power generator or something." So Riker's like, "I'm gonna go get her by myself. I'm gonna like." He takes an unnecessary risk here, basically. And Worf's like, "No, you can't do that." And he's like, "I'm doing it. You guys beam out of here by yourself, and I'm gonna go save her," basically. And that's basically what happens. We got Ishara here. She's getting shot at by the green guys, the Alliance. She does get shot here, and she gets taken down. And just as that guy's kind of moving in on her, Riker saves her. He shoots down this guy, finds her out for the count. Luckily, she's not dead. He has to shoot a couple other guys here before he gets beamed out. Sorry, this was the best screenshot I got of O'Brien doing his duty. Although he's
making a great face.
Yeah, it was my best one ever. Anyway, but Riker succeeds. He gets Ishara out, and then we see Data, Geordi, and Worf are already beamed up, and Riker has Ishara in his arms. How heroic of him! Come on, this was a great Riker moment, wasn't it, Adam?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Well, not according to Picard. Picard said, "Hey, you took some unnecessary risks down there with Ishara, and he was like, "Well, Tasha died on my watch and everything else, and I felt bad about that. I couldn't let her sister die on my away team too." And he's like, "It was an emotional decision, one we can't afford." Which I thought was interesting. What was your reaction to that, Heather? Did you agree with Picard?
How is it risking himself any more than on any other away mission?
I guess because they split up the team was the idea here. Like the reason that Worf objected was that like if he had been killed in trying to save Ishara, that would have been. It was kind of like unnecessary, but he also says, "Good job, Riker." Like it was. I don't know if you guys watched The Pit, but
it's very mixed messages. You shouldn't have done that, but good job though.
Yeah, have you ever seen that medical show, The Pit?
I haven't seen it.
Well, I'll just tell you quickly. There's a scene where this younger resident doctor does this whole procedure, and they're like, "You can't do that. That's too risky. You're basically not high enough level of a doctor yet. You haven't got to the attending level." But she does it, and the doctor's chewing her out, and then he goes, "But that was awesome that you did it. You saved that person's life, but it was also stupid."
You basically are punishing them for breaking protocol, but you really like what they did.
Well, you're happy with the result, but you're not necessarily happy, because if it had gone bad, then Riker would have got all the blame here, right? For the decision.
As he should, and never does. But yes.
Yes.
Lay off Riker, God.
Jeez.
Alpha says they always send 80% of the command staff rather than grunts or something anyway. What's riskier than that?
Well back in the original series, they Kirk went with the Doctor or Spock or both with a ton of red shirts.
It took them 100 years to realize it was a bad idea to send the captain down, on the away mission. So they're working up to it.
When Captain Archer would go, he was going into danger all the time.
Yeah, well, that was well before. And you never saw T'Pol once say, "Don't go." She was like, "Go,"
or even better, say, "I'll go for you."
No, she never wanted to go for him either. None of that. Anyway, okay, so then Ishara, I keep wanting to call her. Ishara's back here. She's getting some medical treatment, but she'll be okay. And then Picard's like, "Hey, thanks for helping us out down there. You did a great job." And whatever. And then she's like, "Yeah, but my sister sucked, didn't she? She was a coward and she left me." And he's like, "Let me tell you about your sister. She was awesome. First time I ever saw her, she was flying through an asteroid belt just to save an injured colonist. When I saw her, I was so impressed with her. I was like, put her on my next ship." Like some captain owed him a favor. And he's like, "I'm sorry you never got to know your sister the way I did, because I think you would have been proud of her." So whether this gets through to Ishara, I'm not quite clear. I don't know if any of this works on. I don't know if Ishara's opinion of her sister really changes in this episode, based on her actions or not. But I think some of her friendship with Data is real. But anyway, then they get back to okay, how we're gonna save the two hostages from the Alliance. They've been moved even deeper underground now, so they don't think they can transport in. But something. Okay, sorry, I got distracted by the outfit. Let's change subject here quickly. So this is the Ishara's second outfit, not her her leather jacket. And
so at this point, is she just now going to the recorders and replicating something to wear?
Yeah, listen, if you lived on a planet where all you had to wear was a dirty old Indiana Jones leather jacket, don't you think you would get yourself the latest in onesie spandex technology on the flagship of the Federation and start replicating yourself a new wardrobe? Because I most certainly would.
Hell yeah. And she looks amazing in this. It's one of her many outfits. I guess it's 2 outfits she wears in this. Data trying his hardest not to activate his fully functional program. Yeah, this is why he sits for the scene, I guess. And I don't know. She always looked great in this. A couple of poses she does in it. Look here, Data. We can be.
She looks great. It's so 80s too, with the shoulder pads and the shape of it. And yeah, she's great. I love this outfit.
Yeah, that's great. Then she goes, where did my sister work? And he was like, "Oh, over where Worf is now." And there's this conversation we get here between Data and Ishara where, he explains that even though he doesn't have emotions, he can have friends through familiarity, get used to people. And,
my neural pathways become accustomed to you.
Right.
What a declaration of love and friendship and respect.
Of course, which I think kind of reaches her. And then we transition to another scene here in engineering where they're like, well, even though we don't think we can beam in, we might have another plan here, because Geordi proposes this idea of like, what if we drill down with our phasers, and then we can actually, like, that will create like a little bit of a hole, and we can beam down into the colony, and then they'll never see it coming. But Ishara is like, well, it would work, but then I can't beam in to help you because my sensor will set it off, and they'll know me right there. Too bad it can't be removed. And I think that it's Data is like, well, I think we can remove it, even because we find out that these implants are designed to explode if they ever interact with air or oxygen. And Data's like, well, we can just create a little force field with put some argon gas in there or neon or something, and done. I'm sure we can remove it safely.
Well, here's night.
This whole idea that she even has to hesitate about like whether she wants to give it up or not is also kind of like, because she can always get a new one if she wants it, right?
But this is where, for me, the episode went a little. Oh, excuse me, guys. I'll come right back.
Okay.
Is it a hockey ringtone?
Yeah, it's like the Hockey Night in Canada ringtone.
Cute.
Yeah, but yeah, just like her whole dilemma here, Heather, on whether or not she's going to, get this thing removed or not. Like she has to think it over. I don't know. Like,
I don't understand the motivation either. Why would you not have it removed?
And I think that I guess like what I wish the episode did more is like I don't get a fully formed picture of her moral dilemma. Like I get that she explains that if I was raised by these people, they're like the only family I've ever known. But we meet Hayne and he seems like a jerk, and that's really our only frame of reference, like what she's holding on to and what she's protecting and what she feels this loyalty to, and he doesn't seem like he's worthy of any of that, right? So it's a bit puzzling. This, we get the scene here with Ishara and Data in 10 forward. They're talking more about Tasha, and what happened with her, right? And this is like leading Ishara to decide, I not only do I want to get the implant removed, but I actually want to join Starfleet. And we see Data goes to Captain Picard, and Counselor Troy says like she's ready to like turn over a new leaf and be this new person, join Starfleet and help us and get the implant out. And we just see like the looks here from Troy and Picard. They're like, maybe, but like this seems a little off,
Yeah.
They're very like not completely dismissive,
they're both
but
like the vibes are all the way off, and what is going on here, because it's not right,
and they have more of a sense of this, but they're like, but Picard's like, well, if she wants to go, like that's her choice. Like if she wants to leave the planet, then we'll help her, but if she has to want to do so. So then Data's getting ready to leave and talk to Ishara, but then Troy pulls Data aside here, which I thought was an interesting. She's like, you seem very forceful in your advocacy for Ishara, right? You're going to bat for her big time here. What's that about? That's not entirely like you, right? And he's like, well, she can help us save the colonists. Like this is all quite logical. What I'm doing here. I'm not getting emotionally attached. Don't worry about me. And so Troy's like, okay, like I can't really refute that, but I don't know. I felt the need to ask the question at least. And then, she goes over to Data, then makes his way to Ishara in the bridge of the Enterprise. And he's like, good news. The captain's going to go down with the plan. You can get that thing removed from you by Dr. Crusher soon. And, you can keep going here. She even gives him a little kiss here on the cheek, right? I got a little kiss from Ishara. And then she's like, I just want to give a little private call. I want to tell my friends on Turkana IV, hey, thanks, but I'm out of here. I'm going to be moving on after this mission. Right? He's like, okay, you can go use the phone in the conference room. And then she calls Hayne, and the only thing she says, it's working.
It's working.
It's working. We got them right where we want them.
And then we go to commercial while we ponder the fact that Ishara Yar is going to betray her newfound friends on the Enterprise.
Exactly. Not very Yar of her. anyway, so we get commercial, we come back, and then Ishara has had the surgery here, where she's coming out the final moments of it. We see the implant removed. It's just like this little yellow plexiglass thing.
They didn't break the bank on that effect, that's for sure.
No, yeah, something even simple can be good too, though.
Yeah, you don't need to have all the bells and whistles for this little thing.
And Dr. Crusher gives it to her and says, "Oh, you can hold it as a souvenir." But she immediately gives it to Data, who will have this by the end of the episode. Add to his little collection of things he owns. You should keep it.
Maybe that's not a weird gift for an android, but like, if a girl I had a crush on was like, here's something that was embedded in me to remember me by.
For a long time,
I'd be like, girl, let's just take a picture or something.
Yeah. Well, everyone's got their things, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe Data.
Anyway, Data seems to find it quite.
Did Data keep this like for years afterwards? Is what I'm mainly.
Definitely, he put it with his Tasha Yar hologram, and he put him in a little box called the Yar Sisters.
Yeah. Oh, the Yar sisters. We see that next scene where they're getting ready to go on the mission. Worf's talking to Ishara, and he's like, "I heard you're going to join Starfleet." And she's like, "Well, maybe in a few years." He's like, "That will be awesome. We could totally use you in Starfleet." Because they're kind of. We see that it's not just Data who's kind of taken with Ishara. It's Worf, it's Riker, it's Geordi to a certain extent. And I think that's important too, right? They're like,
I agree, and especially because Worf had a great deal of respect for Tasha as a warrior.
Right.
Again, some of that undoubtedly would transfer to Ishara, and they obviously trust her and regard her well enough to give her a phaser.
Right.
She got a phaser strapped on.
She got a phaser, and by the way, we're talking about her little outfit. Her outfit now has this little belt with the holster added to it now, which I think adds something to the ensemble.
Yes, and it's matchy, and we get to see her boots. I love in TNG when they do like the monochromatic outfits, like when Troy is wearing the teal dress and its tights and shoes are all the same and everything. They're doing that with her here as well, and I like it.
Me too. I like that as well. Although Ashley Millard, she's like, "What? Like the tights match the dress? What are they doing?" Yeah. So everyone's got their style.
Ashley also really hates Wesley's high pants.
She does. She has some takes.
As do we all.
Okay, then this is where they start getting ready to drill like the hole for the beam out here. We see them, which I think is a pretty cool effect. It's still kind of held up for me, like with them beaming the little phaser down here and drilling the hole, and like, okay, let's beam our crack team in here, and they come in. The plan is to rescue these two guys, all right? And I think Ishara's like, "Go that way, Riker." He's like, "Okay, cool." And then, they start shooting people here. The guards who are got the guys, they phaser through the door to rescue the two hostages here, which, they even have to get their bindings off here with the phasers. And Ishara, she goes her own way. She starts shooting random people. Like, on the Alliance side, she doesn't seemingly need to. This one guy, kudos to him. He got stunned pretty good, but he held on just long enough to shoot the alarm as he goes down here, which kind of gets everyone on their case. Red alert, if you will, for the planet. And Riker's okay, we got to get out of here, but we don't have Ishara. Where is she? This is where Riker finds this guy shot, and he goes, "That seems off. Like something like why was Ishara even out here? Where is she now?" But Data wants to go find her, and we find that Ishara is moving her way towards I guess the power, where the power generation is for this part of the city. She takes out this guard, and she's getting ready to basically blow up this side of the city, and so that they can kind of move in and take over and kill all the other faction leaders and do some bad things. But then Data's like, "What are you doing? This is not nice what you're doing." And she's like, "Well, this is what I'm doing. you gave us a great opportunity to really stick it to our enemies once and for all. And he's like, well, the Federation's going to be blamed for this, and we don't want to be responsible for this civil war. And she points the phaser at Data. We'll find out later that the phaser was set to kill. She was contemplating actually killing Data, and it even goes as far as to take the shot here. We'll see. Right? She tries to get him to walk away. She tries to plead. She doesn't necessarily want to kill him, but she's prepared to. But he can sidestep a phaser blast, just by moving out of the way. And then comes at her, and then Riker shows up, and she shoots at Riker. But that gives Data an opening to sort of phaser her, and ends her little plot to enact war crimes and all kinds of other things. So that was a good move. And then Data, he powers down the reactor and averts this crisis, I guess. And they just kind of look down at Ishara with like, I guess she wasn't who we thought she was. We transition to the Enterprise. Ishara has been changed back into her clothes from before. She's now back in the leather jacket. Worf is now, I guess, escorting her around since they got back, and Haynes like, I want Ishara back. We can't blame us for trying to use you guys to commit war crimes and all these other things, and and they could hold Ishara for crimes, for shooting at Data, shooting at Red Riker, but Picard's just like, yeah, no, let's just send her back and move on here. Like, this was, even Riker's or Worf here. What the hell?
Yes.
I wanted to airlock her, after all this. But
he did. He would have too.
Yeah. But, Picard more restrained. And then Data gets the honor of escorting Ishara to the transporter room. And then we get this little moment here with Riker and Picard where he's like, Riker's like, you went kind of easy on her, Captain. He's like, don't worry, I don't like her either. But this is, I think, the best move in this case. Like, it doesn't seem right. Just we got our people back. No one else is dead. Let's just leave it alone, right? And he also says something like, we wanted her to be like Tasha, right? We wanted to see Tasha in her. We all did, and we all kind of got blinded by that, So it's a lesson learned. And as Data's walking Ishara to the transporter, like, he's not talking to her. She's like, you won't even talk to me, Data. He's like, what do you want to talk about? Like, what do we even talk about? And in the transporter room, she's like, not all of it was fake, Data. Like, we were kind of friends. Some of it I kind of meant, but Data
just says energize.
Yeah. Like he's trying. Like, she said, she kind of pours her heart out to him here, and I think some of it might be sincere, but
but I think that Data did the right thing for himself there. And whether you're a humanoid or an android, when somebody has wronged you like that and you don't know if you can trust them anymore, what else is there left to say? But
right.
Energize.
And this is like, we'll find out the first time Data's really dealing with betrayal, but it kind of isn't, because we know that like Lore has betrayed him, and like
Lore's betrayed him like 15 times by this point.
Yeah, but
speaking of long lost siblings who are up to no good.
Exactly. Like, Shar and Lore teaming up. What would that be like?
That would be fun and hot.
Yeah. Well, they probably would be. She'd be like, you're not like Data at all, are you? But so when she said, basically gives this apology, and then like he's just like energized, and you just see like the look on her face where she's like, oh. Like,
which I thought was very satisfying. I thought it was a good resolution to this story, because it does too leave it ambiguous as to whether, I think you can interpret it how you want. Like, some people do feel that Data does indeed experience emotions, and we know from The Most Toys where he says, I'm only an android, but the way he delivers it, you're like, are you?
Are you like we're
You know?
we're constantly told he doesn't have emotions, but
That's right.
a lot of his actions kind of contradict that.
That's right, which is why I think this performance and this scene is so genius, because he appears to take it all in and he just says energize, and it's up to you, the viewer, to interpret his facial expression there, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I think you could have ended the episode right here.
Mm-hmm.
But like choose to add this other scene where basically it seems like it's a few days later. I think they say in the dialogue where, you know, a Data pays a visit here to Riker in his quarters. He's like, I can't get Ishara out of my head. You know, I feel kind of dumb because I trust her, and you know, it's betrayal. Riker gives this whole conversation about betrayal, right? Like how trusting people is hard. You're never prepared for betrayal, but you know, like it's the rewards of having friendship and trust outweigh the risks, you know. But Data hasn't really had to process this kind of thing before, even though he kind of has. But you know, I guess not from Ishara, right? Like I guess like because how much his feelings, his thoughts, his neural pathways are, how much of this is really just about Tasha and how much is it actually about Ishara? You know, because I don't think if Ishara wasn't the sister of Tasha, I don't think that it has this huge gut punch to him here, right? Where you know, he's so bothered by what's happened, right?
Yeah, I agree. This is actually my favorite scene in the whole episode, because I think it speaks to a lot of the reason why we love Trek. It explores the human condition, you know? Is it better to should you just not trust anyone because there's a possibility of betrayal?
Yeah.
What's
and I think
better?
what's really great about like Data and Spock and some of these, you know, like and the Doctor on Voyager and these characters that we kind of look at through humanity's lens, I think especially for kids, I always think that like that character was really good for being a young person watching Star Trek and being sort of like having these things explained, but they make sense in the context of the story. Like when I used to watch like I don't know, Full House, for instance, like there was always like a moral to the story, but you kind of really saw what they were doing. It was very like
a very special episode where they sit down and explain the moral and the soft, nice music comes on. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but
yeah.
Star Trek isn't so heavy-handed with the lessons. It
Right.
can be.
It can be, but I think
I love this scene. I think it just comes across as that discussion between
Absolutely.
these two characters, and Data being the more naive, childlike one in the situation.
Adam's not making it back tonight, so it's just you and
Okay.
I. And then after the conversation here with Riker, he kind of just comes out. He looks at his little chip that he has left over from Ishara, and like we said, he probably put on his little shelf and put a sign that says the Yar sisters. And that is the last moment here for Data in the episode. Very sad. He wasn't this sad about Lore. He wasn't this sad when his dad died. You know, he is as sad as Data gets, right?
No, because it's a different relationship.
It is.
He loved Tasha, or what his pathways were accustomed to Tasha. And I think his pathways got Tasha and Ishara all mixed up, and it's confusing. Sometimes you're upset about a betrayal, not necessarily with the person that did it, but something else, and like the other complicated feelings that come along with it, if that's related to somebody else, you know?
Yeah.
What they're saying, what they were talking about there with Data and Ishara, what you were saying earlier, you know, how much of that is he's upset about Ishara and how much of it is lingering about Tasha. And I mean, truly, he's an android. He's not really upset per se.
No, it's true. Okay, well, that's our screenshots. I can hit you with the trivia since Adam had to bow out, if you like.
Yes, fun facts with Dave. Fun facts with
They're
Dave.
called the Delta Details discovered by
I'm
Dave.
so sorry. Excuse me. Delta Details discovered by Dave.
There you go. This is the first episode of Star Trek written by Joe Menosky, he went on after this to write 16 Next Generation episodes, 4 DS9 episodes, 36 Voyager episodes, and 1 Discovery episode. So, but this is the very beginning.
Some really good ones too, if I recall correctly.
You are correct. He in particular, like he wrote Darmok after this, Time's Arrow, Conundrum, which is the one
Love
with
that one.
That's a great one. The
we
Chase.
did that on Radio Theater.
We did. He also wrote Masks, which I love. But
I love Masks. Just give Brent Spiner 50 roles and let him do what he wants. It's great.
I'm all for it. In terms of it, like his DS9 episodes, he's got a couple, but like he was definitely on the writing staff for Voyager and wrote a ton of episodes of Voyager, including like Scorpion Part 1 and 2, which is like where they introduced 7 of 9. He wrote Year of Hell Part 1 and 2. Wow. The Killing Game, like Equinox, like his Voyager work, I think is his most impressive stuff.
What a resume! What DS9 ones did he do?
The DS9 ones he wrote are just like he had Dramatis Personae from season 1, which is what else he's got here? Rivals in season 2. That's the one with that El-Orion guy and Quark going at it. Distant Voices, which is the one where Bashir is he's kind of in his own head and everyone's playing a part of his personality. Mm-hmm. And then I'm sad to say, but he also wrote Time's Orphan, which is the one with Molly O'Brien.
Listen, everyone gives that episode such a hard time, and I think it's because everyone hates Keiko, but it's not one of the best episodes. But
it's not. I don't hate Keiko, and I actually think I hate Molly in that episode. like I was like, oh, this cave woman Molly, I can't stand it, And I'm just
it's not everybody's favorite, but.
Okay, some more trivia here. So the director watched the first season episodes with Tasha Yar prior to filming this one. It was the director Shearer who suggested Beth Toussaint for the role, having previously worked with her on Matlock.
She was on Matlock.
Indeed, she was. Will Wheaton does not appear in this episode.
No, they had somebody else at the helm. Where was Will?
He was busy that week.
The was probably being shitty to him somewhere, no doubt.
Well, remember he leaves in a few weeks. He leaves in a few episodes. He'll leave in this season, basically. So I don't know if that's already in the works at this point. Probably. The Turkana underground complex sets are redresses of the Borg ship interiors.
Oh, that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They were so good with like reusing sets and props and redressing things. You had to be for budget reasons, but they're like a lot of props to their production designers and set people and everything. They did a lot with what they had. Yeah.
I thought it looked good. I wasn't like, oh, they're on a Borg ship. I wasn't worried about that at all. So we have, this is as mentioned, the 80th episode of Next Generation, which broke the 79 episode record by Star Trek, the original series up to this point.
Oh, that's fun.
So Next Gen has we have more episodes than you, original series.
Take that, TOS.
Which makes the legacy title fitting. Michael Piller remarked about this episode. It was a good episode because of the performance of the girl and the relationship between her and Data. I like how he calls her the girl. The girl, yeah. There's nothing as poignant as seeing the betrayal of an innocent as Data is. I was very happy with the show, but it doesn't stay with me. It's a show that has great entertainment value, but it doesn't stick as one that I'll always remember. And I think that's fair. I don't think that this is the biggest episode of TNG, but I think it's a completely serviceable episode.
I feel that way too. It's not one that I always skip by any means, but I don't really remember like the specific plot points, or it's not one it's not one of my go-to episodes, you know?
Yeah, I completely concur. The writer, Joe Minosky, said the pleasure with Data was walking that line between android and human, hinting at moments when a deeply vulnerable, true humanity would be glimpsed beneath the machine. True humanity, or was it just our imagination? That was the line. And in this episode, that moment came through with the look on Brent Spiner's face in that last second before we cut to black. It was just wonderful.
Absolutely. And that's what we were talking about earlier, too. And there are quite a few moments like that throughout TNG. But Brent Spiner's performance is so good in this episode, and the writing for that specifically is great.
Yeah. And that's all I can really say. I don't have any. I was always curious about that little glowing proximity sensor and how they did that effect, but it's probably not as impressive as I would like to think it is.
I'm sure it was like a little lamp or something. It was
it's a little lamp, and they just, I don't know, like put a little fake skin on top of it or something, and like go.
Yeah,
right? It's probably more simple than I would think it was. Okay, well, let's rate the episode. So normally, just a little inside baseball here. Well, Adam's reading out the fun facts. I'm pulling this up, but since I was doing both tonight, I need to stall for time here. And
well, while you're doing that, why don't we have a look at my beautiful painting of the Enterprise D here in the style of Starry Night? I had seen something similar posted online, and I sent it to my friend Ellen, who paints, and I said, make me this, jokingly. And she did it. She did it and gave it to me as a birthday present.
I love it. Ellen. It's nicer than some of Data's paintings, for sure.
Years later, it's better than Data's paintings, yes. Years later, she met a gentleman named Ian, who is a big Star Trek fan, and now they're married. Congratulations, Ellen, on marrying a good one.
Is that because she painted that? Is that how she attracted him?
Probably.
There you go.
I think she's probably painted one for him, too. I told her, now do Deep Space Nine. She's like, listen, you only get one. Zip it up.
Like I'm not, I can't be doing them forever. I get that. I'm going to the best. This person says, whenever I get to make my own Trek show, I'm going back to basic sets and props. Hey, I'm all for it. Do it. Mm-hmm. Back to basics. All right. Well, I'm ready now. I've stalled and I'm good here. So let's rate the episode. Just you and I suppose, as Adam has had to bow out for his big business. This episode is decent, so I don't want to go too high. I don't want to go too low. I'm kind of in that sort of, I think I'm in that 7 range. I'm like, is this high as 7.5 or maybe not? So I'm going 7.2. That's where I'm at.
I was thinking 7. I'm not going to give it any. It's just like a flat 7. That's it.
Flat 7. And
hey, I don't want to, I'll rate Remember Me next week because I want to rewatch and think about it. Okay.
Well, hey, that's fine. Of course. Well, you're going to have some more time actually than that to think about it, because we will not be on next Thursday, everyone. I am away for next week. So here on the Thursday night, we are just going to be there will be dead air that night. There will be no show. Even though Jody did offer to host it, but I said, you know what? I can't miss this next episode, which is called Reunion.
Yes.
Ambassador Kalar returns to the Enterprise as Picard is chosen to arbitrate the selection of the next Klingon Chancellor, and a contest between Duras and Gowron, one of whom may be a traitor. And so,
my God, Dave, you chose an awful screen.
Well, that was the only one I could find.
Screenshot.
It's like the great moment in the episode. It's like
it's not great. It's so sad.
It's Shakespearean. It's I like, okay, like, and I have to be here to criticize. I'm like, how the hell did Duras commit this murder with no one hearing and get off the ship? Like anyway, we're going to talk all about that next time.
We'll get into it next time.
Yeah. As well, we will be on Monday night for our For All Mankind podcast. I won't be there, but the crew will keep that one going, as we'll be talking about season 5, episode 7, The Sirens of Titan. Look out for that. And next week on the Super Mario Brothers podcast, we continue as well on our Survivor 50 train here, as we'll be talking about the penultimate episode of the season, episode 12, Inconceivable. Look out for that. Anyway, well, I didn't pull any sounds for this week. I'm sorry. I don't have anything too specific. Maybe I can play a Tasha Yar sound to leave us here tonight, if that sounds agreeable.
Yes, please.
What would we go with?
Remembering Tasha Yar,
the good sister, if you will.
Hey, don't forget Heather Yar.
And Heather Yar, the best
sister.
The best sister. And we'll leave you with this. Okay. Have a good one.
Death is that state in which one exists only in the memory of others, which is why it is not an end. No goodbyes. Just good memories.
See you later.
Bye.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And take a peek into the darkness with Heard Noise, Must Investigate with Michael Chan. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mario Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.